and Japanese in Arvardia Primary with me, Miss Dian. The parents, as you have already know that Arvardia use English as our main language. But do you know that primary students also learn another language? Here are the subject language for our French and Japanese lesson in Arvardia Primary. Let me introduce you, Miss Rissa, as the French language teacher.
Hi, bonjour.
And also Miss Dina as the Japanese language teacher.
Konnichiwa, Dian-chan.
Wow, it's so strange, listening to the language itself. But actually, I never go to the primary, and it's my first time listening to the greeting. It's really fun. Okay, so maybe the parents are wondering what started in the interest of teaching in these two foreign language in Arvardia.
All right, so maybe that idea come up from our principal, Mrs. Dwi. She told me that one day she heard some of our students in primary, they like to talk about Japanese character, kind of anime, and also she also heard some of them sing Japanese song, try to talk also about the Korean girl band at that time. And that's why maybe Mrs. Dwi thought that our primary students need to gain more foreign language other than English and also Arabic. And fortunately in Arvardia there are two teachers that graduated from foreign language, which is me. I graduated from French language education, and also Miss Dina graduated from Japanese language education. So yeah, that idea then come up, and Mrs. Dwi decided to put the two foreign language in primary level.
Okay. Yeah, and also just like our school name, Arvardia Global Islamic. Yeah, we hope that later the student can contribute more in the global world with their multi-languages, Miss. We hope that they will becoming a high-quality Muslim and Muslimah, and then they contribute more to the world, and then they can explore more about their skills, okay, and then they can contribute to all mankind in the world.
Okay, so what is the target gain from learning the Japanese in primary?
For Japanese, the target is that they can use Japanese in their daily life, and then they can they know some of the vocabulary that we use, because in the first beginning of when I start to introduce Japanese to the student, I ask them, what do you think? Why you think you have to learn Japanese? And then they answer, Miss, when I visit Japan, I can understand what they are talking about, and then when I watch anime, okay, I can understand without reading the subtitle, and then so on, gitu ya. And from that question, we know that it can open their point of view to learn other languages besides Japanese.
Okay, so is it the same? Because actually the language has the same, similar actually, similar competency for each level, for each lesson. So how about French? Is it the same as Japanese?
Yes, maybe it's quite similar, but honestly, when Mrs. Dwi offered me to teach French in primary level, one thing that appeared in my mind was I just want to introduce my students to other foreign language that they might know, because French is kind of minority language in Indonesia. Only few people want to learn about French, and beside for daily language, beside the simple things, kind of greetings, I just want to teach them how to answer when somebody greet them, and maybe hopefully someday when they go to France, They can even, only kind of small things like when they want to order something in the restaurant or cafe, they can use a simple French, or maybe they will help their family when they need to pronounce that. Actually the vocabulary, French vocabulary, they will meet that vocabulary nowadays really often. Just like the brand of the bakery store, and also kind of like croissant. Actually,
Croissant.
actually we call it croissant. So maybe kind of that. I just want to tell them not only the language itself, but also the culture.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do you teach the language, especially the foreign language, to the children? What
Oh,
are your strategies?
All right, talking about the strategies, so before that, I have to realize that I face young learners. Young learners is concrete learners, so they need the concrete materials. So I do expose my students to as much as the language as possible. So kind of also hands-on activity, kind of games, work in pair, conversation skill games. And I also use the multimedia to enhance their learning experience.
Okay, how about
Yeah.
Japanese? Is it the same?
Yeah, it's the same. It's quite the same. Yeah,
Do you watch some Japanese movie or something?
no, because I think when they start to learn from anime, and they, Miss, that's so difficult. That's hard. So we learn from the simple one. Okay, and agree with Miss Rissa because we are teaching with fun learning, yeah, Miss.
Yes.
Okay. Because we are teaching from with fun learning, we start from the easiest first,
Yes.
Miss. Okay, just like introduce themselves, and then I also teach about greetings. Okay, kinds of greetings in Japanese, and then later we will continue with the vocabulary things around them. Okay, and then they also learn how to write in Japanese. The two letters in Japanese, actually it's hiragana and katakana.
Okay, so actually basically we will teach the young learner primary. So we try to give them the simple one first.
Yes, because they're still 10 and 11 years old.
Primary
Japanese
4.
for primary 4 and French in primary 5.
So do you find any difficulties in teaching the children this foreign language?
Yes, it is, Miss. At first, I faced some difficulties to teach Japanese to the student. For example, when I start the class with greetings, and ask how do you do in Japanese, I use like this, Ohayo gozaimasu, minasan o genki desu ka? And then they staring at me and they say, Miss, what are you talking, Miss? We don't understand. And then I told them what is the meaning of the words that the word that I say before, and then later in the next meeting when I ask them the same greetings and the same question, they can reply me back. Ohayo gozaimasu, Ohayo Dina sensei, and then minasan o genki desu ka? How do you do? Okay. And then they can reply, Hai genki desu. Okay. And so on. We use the same repetition in the first meeting of the class.
So you find the difficulties only at the beginning?
And only at the beginning, because for Japanese, I think for me, maybe it's quite easy, because I learned it before.
For you, of course.
Yeah, but we face the 10 years old student, right? Okay, and we have to teach them repetition, I think. Yeah.
Okay, so how about in French? Do you find any difficulties, Mr. Stan?
Okay, in French, I think yes, of course, the beginning was always the hardest part for me to introduce them, especially in French. Even though French and also English have the similarities, it's kind of a Romance language, not kind of Latin like Japanese or Korean. But then the difficulties was about how to pronounce the vocabulary itself. Yes, je with Paris. Good job.
Je m'appelle Louis. And then j'ai disons. And then et alors j'habite à Paris. Strasbourg. Je suis étudiante. Good job.
For example, like the writing is really the same with English, just like communication. We spell it communication, right? But then in French, I say to them communication, and they just like, huh? What means that's totally different, and also other vocabularies that might get. And yeah, and also actually I've been teaching since 2019, right?
Yeah, it's our second year, Miss. Yeah, actually, yeah, with the
2019.
foreign language. Yeah.
And also in 2020 we had a pandemic moment, and at that time we had to teach them virtually by online, that was the hardest part for me to teach them, because we had to face with their mood swing. Sometimes they like to turn off the camera, and also they had a bad connection, so they even maybe couldn't hear my voice clearly. And also, right, one of my students at the whole semester, she told me that her microphone was broken. And yeah, during that semester, when I asked her, she just replied me by chatting, by chat box, which is not really effective, for me. And also for language, we have to speak more often, the conversation. So at that time, I really don't know whether she understand or not, whether the capability of the speaking itself. So yeah, maybe that the difficulties was about that moment. So now I'm really grateful because we can meet them, we can teach them directly at school.
So far, the outcome of the lesson itself, do they understand the lesson, the subject? Do they speak the French and Japanese language at the school?
Okay, all right. So far, I see, some, and most of them also, when I greet them, they can answer bonjour, comment ça va? And then they answer me, ça va bien, merci. And maybe when they also have some things not really good, they can say pas mal. It means, not really good, kind of that. That's the simple things that make me happy, actually. And also, one of my students also told me that during the lesson, he suddenly thought that, Miss, do you know, I don't know whether it's only me or what, I think that French is much more easier than Japanese.
Wow.
Yes. Because, most of my students, maybe they prefer to speak, to learn about Japanese because, yes.
They have to learn the letters as well, Miss, for Japanese.
The Japanese, and also Japanese is more, compare with the French is minority language, so maybe they more often met with the Japanese character rather than French. And when one of my students told me like that, it was like, whoa, I successful deliver the message to my students like that.
So how about in
Before, yeah.
Okay, in P4, do they also speak Japanese, or do they understand the subtitle now?
They're not speak Japanese actively, Miss, but they understand, just like greetings, and then, Miss, because in Japanese, they're not only learn the language, they also learn about the letters, okay? Just like in the first term, they learn hiragana, okay? And then the second term, in the second semester, they learn how to write in katakana, and also I introduced them to the basic 10 basic kanji.
Okay.
It's
quite complicated.
Actually, it's not, because a few weeks ago we learned the culture. It's called shodo. Okay, shodo. It's an art of handwriting with the brush and the paint and the ink, brush and ink, just like calligraphy in Arabic. And then they, Miss, wow, it's so much fun, Miss. How I can write my own name using brush. And then there's some technique that they have to learn. And then they said, wow, it's a fun activity. Although we did it online, Miss. Yeah.
Oh, you did
Yeah, we did online. So they have to, Miss, gitu. Is like this, Miss. Is it correct if I what is it? If I hold the brush like this, gitu ya. Yes, very good, gitu. And then they try to write their own name with the brush and ink. Yes.
So actually, basically, it's fun learning, right?
Yes,
So it's
yeah.
not only like vocab
Yeah, they only
grammar and everything, but
they
also
learn the culture as well.
Okay, wow,
Yeah.
it's so fun. All right. So, as the teacher in charge for this language, do you think is it beneficial for the student?
Yeah, I think Miss. I think it's quite beneficial for them. Maybe they will not feel it right now. Yeah, later in the future, they I was in primary. I learned about Japanese gitu, and then that Japan is one of the the developing country in the world, right? And if you want to learn about their technology, I think we have to master their language as well. Yeah, so I think it's quite beneficial for them
Yeah.
later on.
And also maybe that's why we teach them basic in here.
Yeah.
Maybe we just want to grow their interesting mindset. So after this, after primary, maybe they want to continue to university, or maybe they will in the elementary. Oh, I'm sorry, in the secondary,
Secondary,
or
yep.
junior high school, they will choose the language program, which is this is also minority, the language program. So we just want to grow their mindset about the interesting of the forest language itself.
Okay, so far, do they show a good? Do they show an interest to the lesson itself?
For the interest, yes, some of our students, I found that some of my students, even out of the classroom, out of the school time, some of my students like to text me personality. They even just draw about herself, and also draw about the French flag. Miss, this is you. Bonjour, with that greeting vocab again. Which is that simple things but really meaningful for me. And I see that kind of interesting way from our students, from my students, in that way.
Okay. So from you, from the French teacher, what is the tips and tricks to teach this language in the primary? Any advice?
Right, talking about the tips, maybe for the general language also. Yes, as I've told you before, that we have to realize that actually teaching to young learners looks much different from teaching it to adults. Yes, young learners is a concrete learners again. So I do prioritize to listening and speaking. What this means is, when you want to teach the young learners, you need to change your focus to written language, which is reading and also writing, to spoken language, which is listening and also speaking. Yeah, because that also work with their natural development of child. And like that, I put the strategy to speaking more often than the writing and also grammar.
Okay, so keep practicing. Language is all about practicing.
Yes,
right?
practice make perfect, right?
Yeah, agree
Yes.
with that. Yeah, and maybe if I can add some more tips to learn languages. Yeah, and one more, Miss, because if we learn a new language, they have to know that it's okay to make mistake, because from that mistake we know that in the next I will not repeat the same mistake, so they will do it better.
Okay, that's right. And also, actually, for the language, as long as the person you are talking to is understand
Yes,
what you are talking, it's fine.
Yes,
But the grammar.
Yeah.
Actually, the grammar and everything, it's
Yeah.
just it just matter in the writing.
Yeah, no
right?
need to worry about the grammar. Just be brave to
Yes,
speak.
that's right. It's really make us happy when you
Yes.
speak the language,
Yeah.
right? Okay, and also we also can see their capability from their speaking, right?
Yep.
Okay, so what is your vision and hope for our children that that has been taught the language? Do you think Arvardia should make it like a subject that ultimately reflection of the globalization existence?
Okay, for sure, yeah. Hopefully, we hope that they will practice more that language itself, especially the foreign language, and for me, especially they will. I hope that they can learn more about French language. Beside of its minority, there are some facts about French. French is a travel language. There are most people like to come to France. France is kind of a most attractive place to visit, and also by learning the French, so they can go there easily. And then French language also is the international language for cooking, shopping, even architecture, theater, movie, and one of them also French language is the good base for learning another foreign language. I mean, Romance language, kind of Italian, Portuguese, and also Romanian also, and English itself, because most of the English vocabulary is derived from French actually. So last but not least, I want to tell to my students, to all the students, we want to tell them that keep learning, keep practicing language, because by learning language, it can increase awareness around the world, and also it can make you more open-minded to other people and their culture. So just keep practicing, keep learning other kind of foreign language, right?
Yep. Agree.
What an amazing talk. The younger, the better. That's why we teach the children with many languages, so it will open their mind, and also they will learn the culture that is not just around them, but also around the world. Okay, everyone. So if you interested about our activity, you can check out our medsos. You can see our Instagram at @sekolah_Arvardia, or you can see also our Facebook in Arvardia School. You can also join us by signing in ppdb.sekolaharvardia.sch.id, and also if you have further question or anything, you can just call us on 0811-220-5999. And 7 days left before second session special prize end. So come on, let's sign in fast. Okay, everyone. So that's all for our episode today. It's really nice talking to you. Thank you, Miss Rissa.
Thank you, Miss Dian, for having us.
Okay. Alright, hopefully you enjoy and see us at our new episode. Before we end the session today, let's say bye-bye in French.
Au revoir, merci beaucoup pour votre attention.
Surprise! Okay, how about in Japanese?
Sayonara, minasan.
Okay, hopefully you enjoy our episode today, and we will see you again at our next episode Xpodia Explore Podcast with Arvardia. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye bye.
Au revoir, bye bye.